Hey, welcome to A Game for Your Thoughts. Today we're talking about Bioshock 2. Bioshock 2 is the follow-up to the original Bioshock. It kind of continues the story of Rapture. See what happens after the events of the first game. And then it's really interesting and very different experience, so let's talk about it. So the story of Bioshock 2 follows you playing as Big Daddy, who has your little sister, and your little sister gets taken after you basically kill yourself. And you wake up like 8 years later, and you're back alive, and the little sister that you were protecting when she was little is now grown up, and she's being watched over by her real mom named Lamb. And so Lamb has kind of overtaken Rapture after the death of Andrew Ryan. So it's up to you to go across Rapture, fight against Lamb and her kind of party of people who are like worshiping her, and save your little sister girl. It's pretty cool. So the story of Bioshock 2 is, I think, a little bit more simplistic than the story of Bioshock 1. In Bioshock 2, I mean, it's basically just trying to get from point A to point B. There's just all these things that happen in between. Granted, that's also the story of Bioshock 1, but I feel like Bioshock 2 didn't have any like big twists or anything too crazy happen. The ending is definitely far more emotional, and I think they nailed the landing a lot better in this game than they did in Bioshock 1. Bioshock 2 definitely kept me interested the entire time. My biggest problem is that Bioshock 2 is just very short. As you're working your way through Rapture to get to Lamb and your little sister girl, you meet all these different characters, and they have some sort of effect on your character story and things like that. And I really like these characters and kind of their little stories. And you have some morally ambiguous moments where you can kind of pick and choose different things, and they all have effects on the end of the game, things like that. And I really like that, as it really made you like your actions actually kind of had a meaning. Bioshock 1, they did, but you didn't have as much agency in Bioshock 1 as you did with Bioshock 2. Just like I said, the biggest thing with Bioshock 2 is that it's just so short. I was like super invested in the story and the gameplay, and then all of a sudden it's like, alright, this is it. This is the end of the road. And I'm like, what? It's been like 4 hours. This was not a really long game. And I actually think this game could have benefited from being a little bit longer. Story-wise, I'm trying to think of a really good way to do it. I don't really know what more they could have added into the story, but the game itself, I just wanted more. I really, really enjoyed it. It just was fun being back in Rapture, and I feel like they did a great job of kind of building upon it and showing your effects from the first game. What happened after the first game? What happened to Rapture? Rapture continued living, just not in the way that people think they wanted it to. It's now more of a dictatorial, godlike experience for these people of Rapture. And it is a really great continuation of the world, and it does a great job of continuing the world building. I thought that was great. I think that's exactly what Bioshock 2 needed to do, was continue building the story and building the world of Rapture, because that's what I loved most about the first game, was Rapture and its story and its environment and the storytelling, and Bioshock 2 does a great job of continuing that. So, like I said, I really liked the story of Bioshock 2. It kept me super invested. I was really into it, and then it ended. And I really wish it could have kept going, but I feel like this game nails the landing so much better than Bioshock 1 did. I was really into the ending, and I thought it was a really satisfying conclusion to this story and kind of the story of Rapture itself. So the gameplay of Bioshock 2 was what really kept me invested. So I remember the first time I played this game, I had kind of heard Bioshock 2 was not as good as Bioshock 1, and so I kind of feel like I went into that knowing that. But then this next time I played through, which is my most recent playthrough, if that makes any sense, I kind of remember, I'm like, I don't remember liking this one as much. I remember kind of like sprinting to the end because I just was not into it as much. But this last recent time through, I was super into the gameplay of this game. I really enjoyed it. It does a lot of what Bioshock 1 did, but improved upon it. For example, your plasmids and your weapons. I feel like the weapons in Bioshock 2 are far more interesting. I really liked the selection of weapons I had and the upgrades I could give them. And also the ability to dual wield, and the drill. I loved the drill. I think that was the perfect thing to do for a Big Daddy, because that was the iconic Big Daddy thing, was the drill. And to be able to use the drill and plasmids and like dual wield, not having to switch back and forth, I thought was a fantastic idea that really expanded upon the gameplay and just let for more fluidity. One of the biggest aspects about Bioshock 2 that, thinking back, I remember not liking it, but this most recent playthrough, I was actually super into it, and it's the little sisters. In the first game, all you had to do was kill the Big Daddy and then take the little sister, and you can kill her or rescue her. In this game, it's a little bit more complicated than that, because when you kill the Big Daddy, you get the little sister, but since you're playing as a Big Daddy, you can like adopt the big little sister. Wow, there's so many big littles. So you adopt the little sister, like throw on your shoulder, and you can run around Rapture and collect Adam, as you would see little sisters and Big Daddies do in the previous game. I thought this was really, really cool. The first time I played it, I wasn't into it, because then you had to like set the little sister down and then like spend time like defend her and stuff like that. And it just wasn't my favorite. But this most recent time through, I really enjoyed it. I was super into it. I really wanted to help every little sister I could, collect all the Adam I could, and it also really benefits you in a really Adam efficient way. And I really liked it the second time through. I don't know why I didn't like it the first time through. I don't know if it was, I don't know. I really don't know why I didn't enjoy it, because this second time through, I loved it. I thought the little sister system was great. I wanted to save all of them. I really wanted to do every single one, collect as much Adam as I could, not more so for the sake of Adam. I just found it really entertaining gameplay. I really liked the strategy behind it, having to set up a defense around this little sister and doing everything I could to keep her alive and do everything I could to not let her get caught by the splicers and things like that. This game throws a lot at you in these situations, especially later on. They throw a lot of splicers, they throw a lot of big enemies at you, and it gets very intimidating. You got to be really solid in your defense, and it just made for really enjoyable gameplay. One thing I particularly really enjoyed was the plasmids. I feel like it did a good job of expanding upon the plasmids, giving them new abilities, new ways to use them, and adding just flat out new plasmids. I thought it was a great way to just expand upon the world. Well, it wouldn't make sense for certain plasmids to exist in one way and not the other, but I feel like it did a great job of implementing them and making the gameplay a little bit more interesting, because you're using things that you hadn't seen before. So I just liked the gameplay. It was so solid, the shooting was really good, the enemies were really intimidating when they needed to be, and the little sister system was great. Well, they did change the hacking, which was a bummer for me, because I really loved the tube hacking in the first game. I did some research, and apparently people hated it, and so they changed it, which was a bummer because I really enjoyed it. But the hacking in this one definitely adds a little bit of urgency, because it doesn't stop the gameplay. It keeps it going. You have like a little needle that you have to stop in certain areas, and like green and red and blue. It's just kind of like a, how do you explain that? It's a needle that moves back and forth, and you have to stop it at certain points, and it doesn't stop the action. So you can shoot something to hack it, but the hacking game is going on while you're in the middle of combat. It was really urgent and actually really intimidating, but made for some really interesting gameplay, because I'm trying to hack something, but I'm also trying to deal with this situation. Hacking this thing could really help me out, but also I got to try not to die. Very interesting, very engaging gameplay that I really enjoyed. Graphically, I didn't notice much of a difference between Bioshock 1 and 2 and the collection. If you watch my Bioshock 1 video, I said that I played the Bioshock collection on the PlayStation 4, and that's how I played Bioshock 2. This is also available on the Switch. I don't know how it looks on the Switch. This is for the PlayStation 4 collection. I'm sure on the Switch it's probably got downgraded graphics, Switch stuff like that. But for the PlayStation version that I played, I really thought the graphics looked pretty good. Not much different than Bioshock 1, but the world itself looks really, really nice. It's a good looking game, and it just runs and goes pretty good. I will say though, Bioshock 2 runs a lot better on this collection than Bioshock 1 did. In Bioshock 1, I had crashes and freezes and frame rate problems. In the second game, I had frame rate problems when it got very heavy on the screen. There was a lot going on. It was really the only major technical issue I had. I didn't have any crashes or freezes, and that was great. I loved it. In the end, should you play Bioshock 2? Absolutely. I think it was great. If you liked the first game, you should absolutely play the second game. I feel like it does a great job of expanding upon the story, the world, the lore. The gameplay is really intriguing. It changes a lot from the first game and actually fixes a lot of the things that I didn't really particularly like about the first one. The story actually has a really solid conclusion. The gameplay never got quite dull. The only thing that I wish Bioshock 2 would have done is if it would have been longer. I don't know how they would have made it longer. Maybe add a little bit more story in certain areas. I don't know. But I really, really enjoyed the story that I got. I really enjoyed the gameplay. I just wish I had more of it. I just was so into it, and I was having so much fun that I just was kind of a bummer when it was just like, oh, it's over. And it's kind of a bummer. But graphically, it looks really good. It runs really well. I really liked my time with Bioshock 2. I think you should absolutely pick it up. It's only like $20 on the Switch, or you can buy the whole Bioshock collection on PlayStation. It's fantastic. It's a great combination of games, because you're going to get Bioshock 1 and 2. Both of them are really awesome games that kind of play off each other. And so it's a great collection of games to get for a really solid price. So in the end, should you play Bioshock 2? Yes, you should. Hey, thank you so much for watching my video on Bioshock 2. I hope you liked this game as much as I did. So let me know down in the comments, which one do you like better, Bioshock 1 or 2? I would throw Infinite in there, but I feel like Infinite's different enough that I kind of have to group that separately. So looking at Bioshock 1 and 2, which one do you like the best? Which one really caught your attention? So let me know down in the comments below. And also, while you're down there, if you want to like, subscribe, and hit the bell to get notified every time I post a new video, that'd be awesome. I post new gaming content here all the time, every day. I have new videos, new content, new good stuff, all for you guys. So go and check that out. And if you want to check me out some more, I'm right here. No, if you want to go and watch some more of my stuff, I'm over at twitch.tv/GameForYourThoughts. I'd love to see you there. Thank you so much for watching the video, and we'll catch you guys next time on A Game For Your Thoughts.